Good evening, traders. Good evening, my champions. Well, I'm solo today. It's nothing wrong with being solo. It's good to be alone from time to time, but it's always good to have company. But today we are going to dive into a topic that changed millions of lives. It's our mindset. What is the difference between the poor, the rich, and the wealthy? It's not the bank account. It's always our mindset. So, I know my late night show is I prefer it to be like psychology of trading because I think everybody talks about the technicals and most of us forget to talk about psychology of trading, and this is one of the most important that I cannot really emphasize how important it is for us to hone our skills and to be disciplined because being disciplined is just it's not easy. It's not hard. I mean, it's not impossible. It's possible, but we just really need to be disciplined. So, I know we all trades, we all invest, and most of us have a formal education. But we are here trading, trying to make extra income, trying to be rich and wealthy. Jim Rohn said something like formal education will make you a living, but self education will make you a fortune. So, reading charts is not a formal education. For me, it's not a formal education. You could go to some classes, but it's more like a self-education. Once you get it, it just hit you like lightning bolt. I mean, that's just for me at least. And then you get your technicals, you learn, you practice your technicals, and then you also practice your discipline. Once you combine it together, it's like an abomination. And losing is just part of it. It's just like, you know what? I'm okay to lose today because it's already part of your trading strategy. Once you become, I guess, expertise on losing, winning just becomes easier as well. I know it sounds such a ironic. How do you say that we have to be comfortable in losing, but at the same time, we have to be comfortable in winning too. Like sometimes it's just the opposite. What I call that, a paradox, right? But trading is really hard, guys. It's really hard. And I know I feel you guys. I feel each and every one of you. And we trade because we want to make income, extra income. We want to be wealthy. We want to have a liberty to go maybe trade in Bahamas or in the Philippines or Vietnam with margarita or pina colada or coffee or tea, whatever that is, whatever reasons that you may have. But it's all about our mindset. Trading is not chasing money. That's for the poor mentality. And trading is not about luck. It's discipline. And it's not about circumstances either. It's choices. This is just not in trading. This is just in life. Once we start chasing money, just inevitable. It's just you're like a guinea pig that they just go in circle in circle. It just doesn't know when to stop. So if you stay with me for 1 hour, I promise you'll walk away with thinking different about yourself. Hopefully, I think I believe I could make a little bit of difference in a way. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor, but I could tell you a little bit of my story. Being poor, I might say rich. I'm not quite sure wealthy, but if you define yourself as poor, rich, and wealthy, what comes in your mind? Most of us think of it like money, right? And for poor people, meaning in a mindset way, okay, not financially. Poor people think like, oh, it's a bank account. I feel like I'm poor because I don't have much money. So what limits yourself on that? You're limiting your mindset, right? I was born poor. I grew up in the Philippines. Actually, I was born in the Philippines. I grew up in New York and basically spent my entire life in Florida with my children and my husband. But I always said to myself, I don't want to die poor. It's not my fault that I was born poor, but it's my fault if I die poor. So I have that mantra in my mind since I was very young because I see how life is so hard. I remember one time that I thought that being poor, it's if my family's poor, I'm gonna be poor too when I grow up. But I really want to change that mindset. For some reason, I keep saying that to myself that I don't want to die poor. I don't want to die poor. I remember one time that we don't have much to eat, and there's a Christian chapel that those little kids, you just go to their chapel and they will read the Bible. And if you stay for an hour, I believe it was like an hour, 30 minutes, something like that. At the end of the day, they will give you 2 cans of rice and a can of sardines. And I'll go there with my cousins and just to get a can of sardines and rice. And that's how poor we were. So I felt that struggle. I said, I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be poor. It sucks to be poor. And I know each and every one of you guys must have experienced poor, but some of you guys have the privilege to, to live with a, what do you call that, golden spoon. But I know on the Discord, most of us experience being poor. So today's live session is let's change that mindset, guys. Let's change that mindset. Earl Nightingale said, we become what we think about. And that also just shook me. I listened to Earl Nightingale, I listened to Jim Rohn, because I don't really, it sucks to be poor, man. I remember too, back when my husband and I just started, we couldn't even afford toilet paper or paper towels. And I don't want to be like that. And I told it to my husband, I don't want to be like this. And we went to Florida with $5,000, open a business. His grandfather gave us a $5,000. And we came to Florida with one luggage and my son, and my husband has one duffel bag. Without knowing nothing about business, well, first he worked for somebody for 3 months, and then he went home with, I believe, $300. And I said, how are we going to survive? And at that time, I was studying I was doing my prerequisite for nursing. And I said, how are we going to survive with this? And then, luckily, it's such a privilege that his grandfather gave us 5,000 to open a business. And ever since, we were just like 22, 23 years old. We know nothing about business. But my husband has been doing, this construction for so many years since he was 13 years old and he was 22. Ever since we opened that business, he never worked for anybody. Never did. So we were blessed. We may not be financially affluent like most people that I know, like Josh or Ertuan, but we've been blessed. Because hating that being poor doesn't mean that I could be stuck there forever. So I hated it, but at the same time, I used that as my strength because I don't really want to be poor. It sucks to be poor. When you have money, you have the privilege to speak your mind. And I want to be like that. I want to have the ability to speak my mind because when you have no money, you just sealed. Your mouth is sealed. You have no place on earth. In reality, I'm just being honest, okay? So back then, all I think about is just my survival, my husband's survival, food on the table. It's just all about survival. And then once we start acquiring at least money there, money here, and you start changing your mindset to how am I going to hold this much money? How am I going to keep this money? Now I have some income. So what do we have to do in order for us to keep that wealth, to keep that money, the little money that we have? We have to change. We have to change our mindset. So I start reading books, start changing the way you think, obviously. And it helps. It helps me slowly but surely. Yes, get some proper education as well. Having a proper education gives you a stepping stone in success. It gives you guaranteed living. but it doesn't give you guaranteed success, right? At least gives you a living, because the rich mindset always think about the income. But the wealthy mindset, that's just amaze me. It's just so amaze me, because the wealthy mindset thinks always about the freedom. It's the freedom, and that's what I want. I want each and every one of us in the Discord to have that freedom, not just have a mindset of being rich, and definitely not having a poor mindset, because we will not grow if we're stuck on that poor mindset. So start reading books, start implementing these books, and then you also start changing the people that surrounds you. I'm going to annotate a lot about Jim Rohn, because he's the one, actually, honestly, he's the one who opened up my mind and my horizon. He said, if you want to be attractive or interesting, if you want to be surrounded by interested people, you have to become one. So once you start becoming an interesting person, not like, oh yeah, this person is the most funniest person or the most vocal person, nothing like that. Meaning like interesting, meaning like you have your way of speaking, way of thinking that attracts helping other people. I think that's what makes you interesting. And people just see that from you. And I want you guys to do the same. I want you to be an interesting person so that people will find you interesting. Because, in life, we always need somebody to help us. That's why I always tell my children to say, if you need help, all you got to do is ask. It doesn't matter how many times you ask, because one day, 1,000 people must say no to you. But what if that person said yes? That just opened the opportunity for us. Okay? I am not here to preach about being wealthy. I'm not a wealthy person in regards to the bank account. I think, but I will get there. So as you, each and every one of us will get there, as long as we be consistent and disciplined, not only in trading, but also in life, guys. Also in life, we need to build a system that works for us. That works for us. We need to be disciplined. It's just really how I really want to emphasize how we need to be disciplined. There's a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that is actually a good example of Josh. He told me his story one time when we met up in California, and he is the epitome of that book. Well, this book talks about one of his poor dad saying that the poor work for the money and the rich make money work for them, and the wealthy build systems that work without them. So the poor dad always say, go to school, get a job, play it safe, right? I remember that when I was young too. My grandmother always say, go to school, you're gonna be rich when you go to school. But I think there's a fine line between going to school and being rich, because that comes with a mindset and discipline. I could have all the dreams in the world. I have so many dreams. Denzel Washington said something that dreams are just dreams without plans. They're just simply a dream. So we go to school, we get a job, we play it safe. That's what we were taught. That's what the education system taught us. Rich Dad said, learn how to make money, learn how money works, take smart risk, build assets. That's what my dad always told me. My dad is an engineer. He was an engineer. My dad made a lot of money. He made a lot of money when we were young. But my mom, I'm sorry, mom, but my mom doesn't know how to manage money. Being a second engineer, I mean, those people are, according to Chris Hogan's, the three groups that are millionaires are actually teachers, engineers. I forgot the other one. Teachers, engineers, and the other one, I forgot. I'm sorry. I forgot the other one. But they are the one that becomes wealthy. But my dad, for some reason, did not. He has the biggest heart in the world, but my mom kind of failed that. So another thing is, to those young people here, you have to choose who's going to be your partner, because that's one of the important thing as well. Picking your partner. You have to pick a partner that will conquer the world with you, side by side. You tackle the world side by side. And I think one of the things that me and my husband are strong, because we tackle the world, we conquer the world side by side. I am not behind him. I am not in front of him. I always try to be on his side. So I'm not a perfect person. I've been through ups and downs in life, but I'm still here. I'd say I've been blessed. I've been blessed for the opportunity for that was given to me by Josh, and it's been an honor that I get to trade this to take this journey with you guys. That one day, hopefully one day that will come, that we will look into this video and say, "Hey, Mary, we were talking about rich and poor and wealthy mindset. Guess what? I'm a millionaire now." I want to hear that one day, hopefully in 5 to 10 years, right? And hopefully I'm still here. I'm sure I will be here. And I want to hear that story, guys. I really want to hear that story. I just enjoy seeing people become successful. And imagine if you're part of it, it just warms my heart. And I really want you guys to be successful in trading. So that's why I'm doing this. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock, and I should be everybody either sleeping, watching TV. Should not be watching TV, should be reading a book or something. But whatever reason they have, and to those people who are here, thank you. I appreciate you guys. But we really need to discipline, change our mindset. I want to be millionaires. I want to be wealthy in a way that I could be able to have liberty, freedom, freedom that I could be able just to teach. Don't worry about money. Money will just come. And I could be able to buy toilet paper and paper towels. I don't have to worry about that. I've been blessed that I don't have to worry about that lately. Thank God. I don't know if you guys listen to Napoleon Hill. Right. Napoleon Hill has 3 stories. He said there's 3 men. There's the poor mindset, there's the rich mindset, and the wealthy mindset. And the poor man always say, life is hard. He waits for opportunities. He blames circumstances. He's always stuck. If I'm trying to compare this with stock market, the poor mindset is like this. Oh, the market robbed me. Or what is another excuse that we have? It was rigged. It was manipulated. But I always tell you guys, we have to trade what the market gives to us, right? We cannot blame the market. The market doesn't even care about us. Okay, let's not have a poor mindset when we're trading, because it doesn't help. Here comes the rich mindset. The rich mindset is always like, I get to buy a shiny toy. I get to buy, or we're all attracted with the shiny object syndrome. That's what at least Chris Hogan mentioned. And many of us, I'm sure, I've been one of them. I remember when I started experiencing money, I like nice things. I'm sure each and every one of us, I was young and I like buying expensive stuff. I like Louis Vuitton, Gucci. And at the end of the day, those purses actually making the wealthy people wealthier. While in reality, I'm just broke person who's trying to show off, thinking like I have a lot of money because I buy expensive stuff. And then one day you just shut your mind and say, you know what? I don't need this. I don't need this new object syndrome, because it doesn't make me a better person. It makes me more broke because I get to spend thousands of dollars to buy those expensive purses, right? So I stopped. That was like maybe 15 or 10 years ago. I really stopped. So whatever I have, my purses has been so old. like 10, 15 years ago. And honestly, my clothes is the same thing. Um, I still have my jean jacket since I was in high school. Can you believe it? Yeah. It still fits, but there's buttons that doesn't close, but still fit. I still have it. And sometimes my husband said, you have money now. You should buy clothes. And I'm like, for what? What do I need clothes? My clothes still fits me. And if I do buy clothes, I always teach my children, please, 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 don't buy retail um price. Wait until it gets on sale or find an alternative clothes where you could buy either cheaper brand or go to Ross or TJ Maxx or something like that. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm trying to teach them to have a different mindset about clothes, about those shiny objects syndrome, right? I'm trying to change that, trying to break the chain of poverty, destitute of my family. And that's why I'm here. I want to be like you guys. I want to be wealthy as well. I want to be like Ertuan. I want to be like Josh. But comparison is the thief of joy, right? We have our own journey. We have our own journey. It's just remember, wealthy is not about chasing money. It's finding that liberty, that freedom. That's what I want. I want you guys to have that as well. So once you guys are trading, just keep in mind, why are you trading? Why are you chasing this hype? We're trading because we're going to be what? We're going to be disciplined, and this gets easier as the time goes by. It gets easier because you get to sleep in peace, and then you get to do it again tomorrow. If you lose once, it's okay. Twice, it's fine. That doesn't define who you are. Okay? That doesn't make you a poor person. Doesn't make you a wealthy person. It just doesn't define who you are. Okay? And then here comes the wealthy mindset. I'm gonna talk about Ertuan because he's the wealthy person that I am. Actually, I I might say among my friends, I am not the wealthy one. I am the poorest one, I might say. Most of them are rich, at least wealthy, and I'm the youngest. So I told them I got time. I got nothing but time, and I'm surrounded with great people. So I'm really, really blessed for that. But the wealthy mindset is think about like Ertuan, right? What he does is incredible because although he buys stocks that are losing, but he has the patience and the guts to hold it for 2 years because he refused to sell it for a loss. Yes, Ertuan. Yes. He refused to sell it for a loss. It's like my QBTX. I always refuse to sell that for a loss. So I'm okay. I get stuck in there. Actually, one of them is him. So I just really refuse to sell it for a loss because I believe in the company, the fundamental. But anyways, Ertuan has that wealthy mindset. He invests, he learns, he has a system. And you know what he does as well? He helps you grow. He helps me grow. I'm going to give credit to Ertuan for teaching me to be patient, actually, because before we talk so much about that being patient, just hold on to it, Mary. If you believe in the company, hold on to it. And then I believe him. I believe him. And I believe in myself as well, because, if you don't believe in yourself, who else going to believe you, right? I mean, I could believe you, but if you don't believe in yourself, it doesn't make sense. And Ertuan becomes free. He could go travel 3 months, 2 months in Vietnam. That's incredible. Other people have the privilege to travel. And it's not about being wealthy because you get to travel. It's because having a wealthy mindset is because you could pause for a while and don't have to worry about anything. It's incredible. It's really incredible. Once you are able to do that you don't have to suck up to your boss or anything like that. That's just privilege. So tomorrow, you guys go into trade. Just keep in mind, what is your purpose for trading? Make sure you plan ahead. Make sure you have a dream. But You have to implement some actions on those dreams, because if you have dreams and you continue to dream, then continue sleeping, time to wake up. Time to wake up. Have a plan. Let's do something about it. You know, today the market is a bit hard. SPY did not give us a good directions until the end. That's when it's plummeted. But in the morning, it doesn't. I hope you guys, to my students, I hope you guys did not trade within those range. Okay, remember, we don't trade between the pre-morning market and the pre-morning resistance and pre-morning support. We don't trade within that. So the wealthy people, or the wealthy mindset, they believe differently. That's why he live differently from others. So if we compare each group on how they think in regards to the time, the poor thinks always like, I have plenty of time. No, you don't. You don't have plenty of time. The rich thinks time is money. Yes, indeed, time is money. But they said your wealth is not measured in gold, but in peace. And that is the wealthy mindset when it comes to time. Because for them, time is life. Time is life. I want to be there. I want to be like, what do you need? I have it. I got it. I don't have to worry about anything but at least helping other people. It feels good when you see someone outside and you're able to help them. That is wealth. It's incredible just to help other people. I don't know. I don't know for others, but there's two different things. There's a difference between being nice and being kind as well, right? They said, "Oh, you're so nice." Being nice is not saying anything when you have something in your nose. That's being nice. But being kind is like, "Hey, you have something in your nose, clean it because I don't want other people to see it." That's being nice and being kind. But if you're kind, most likely you have that wealthy mindset. That's just me, okay? I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a professional speaker or anything like that. But I'm just sharing you guys my way of thinking, my way of life, how I learn at least improve my life. Just continually reading to podcasts. You know, among my brothers and sisters, I'm the only one who think differently. Yes. Yes. Because I always try to teach my family that it is not our fault that we were born poor. And I keep telling them that. I keep telling them that. And I said, but it's going to be your fault if you die poor. So it's not like they're poor, but it's just they're still stuck with that poor mentality, you know. And once you start changing your mindset, you become separated from them. You feel like you're the outcast because you think different now. Your way of laughter is different now, and sometimes I feel a little bit sad because I felt like I cannot connect with them, although all I do is I want to share them the wisdom that I've acquired, that I've learned. And they said that you could only lead the horse to the water, but you cannot make them drink the water, right? And that's how I felt sometimes. So when it comes to learning between the rich and the poor, Jim Rohn always say, if you want more, you must become more. Like he has the tone of voice when Jim Rohn speaks. So he said, if you want more, you must become more. And that's incredible. What does that mean? You have to become more, learn more, have patient more, be kind, be more a giver, not a taker. You must become more. if you want more, right? They said it's better to give than to receive. It's the same thing. I mean, for me, it sounds like it's the same thing. And the poor people, they stop learning. They stop learning after school. Once they finish their education, they are done. Stop learning. My brothers and sisters, the same thing. They just stop learning. Although I want them to grow. But I told them, hey, why don't you learn how to trade? Why don't you learn crypto? Oh, crypto, I heard is too risky. Trading, I heard you lost a lot of money. And I'm like, yes, but there's an opportunity behind that, you know? You gotta take risk at the same time in life if you want more. Two things that I did during COVID. I decided to run and I decided to trade. Unfortunately, my trading sucks at that time. I lost money. But hey, I'm still here. I learn. I get the money back. But I'm still here. I'm still, as long as you're still here, you lost money, but you're still learning. Congratulations to you. I give props to you. It's hard. It's hard. It felt like you got stabbed in the heart. And you know what? That's how I felt. I did not even tell my husband about it. But that's a good thing. He doesn't really check much on our on our statement because I'm the one who handles all the financial. But it's we gotta have to learn to take risk, guys. We have to learn to take risk. But when it comes to opportunity for the poor people, like when I was poor, I just wait for opportunity. We're not supposed to be waiting for opportunity. We always have an excuses, right? I told you earlier that Chris Hogan said, you could make excuses or you could make progress. You cannot do both. You could only choose one. So for the poor people, they wait for opportunity to come. For the rich people, they look for opportunity. But the wealthy people, I'm just amazed how these people are because they create an opportunity. Don't you guys want to create your opportunity? Just knock down those doors of opportunity. Those doors aren't going to open for us, right? Same thing with trading, guys. Those skills and knowledge and wisdom and discipline and consistency is not going to give it to you guys. You cannot keep blaming the market. You cannot keep blaming Donald Trump, or I'm not being political, okay? Or the market or the manipulators. Who pressed that button? We did. We did. While you're pointing at other people for your mistakes, but the other finger is pointing at you. So just keep that in mind, okay? So tonight we're gonna start changing the way we think. That includes me. Because I want to have a wealthy mindset. It has nothing to do with money. It has something to do with our mindset. I remember said something, if the world divides the money evenly to each and every one of us, in a few days or in time, all the money that belongs to the wealthy will come back to them. And to those people who are poor will remain poor. Why? Because even if they acquire that money, they don't know what to do with it because they're not used to it. So we really need to hear today, tonight, tomorrow when we wake up, we have to stop thinking like a poor man. We have to start thinking like a wealthy man. Has nothing to do with money. It's always, when I say wealthy, meaning mindset. It's all about mindset, guys. You know, when it comes to fear, poor people fear. They fear, so they stop. We stop because we're afraid. The rich, fear motivates them. They motivates them. But the wealthy is different. I'm telling you, wealthy Wealthy has a different mindset. The wealthy, the fear teaches them. The fear teaches them. So they acquire the knowledge, they acquire the wisdom, they use the wisdom to become successful. You know, hopefully each and every one of us holding each other's hand and say, we did it. We did it, guys. We did it. You know, I remember when I was broke, I always say, when I get the money, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna buy nice car. I'm gonna buy a big diamond. I'm gonna buy this. And then I just noticed that, just start realizing how I was back then. All I think about is liabilities. All I think about is all those shiny toys. New cars, new shoes, new TVs. Bro, you didn't even have a couch. I remember we didn't even have a TV stand back then. We got our couch from Goodwill, or actually, no, Salvation Army. And I'm thinking all this. I'm like, I don't even have a couch. How am I going to get those money, right? Meanwhile, the wealthy thinks different. They don't think like me when I was poor. They will think like, I buy a duplex. I bought a vending machine. I bought a parking lot. And people were like, parking lot, vending machine, business. Yeah, it pays me while I sleep, right? So we all need to have a wealthy, healthy mindset. But remember, keep in mind too that your biggest wealth is your health. The rest is just secondary. Remember that. You gotta have to take care of your physical, your mental health in order for you to acquire that wealth that you wanted. Last week we talked about God, your faith, whoever you believe in. May not be God, but whatever you believe in, the higher power. And then your physical health and your family and your mental health. And once you take care of all that, the rest is just secondary. The rest is just really secondary. So now let's talk about our stock trading mindset, right? I'm not a financial advisor, as always. I have to keep that in mind. But most people lose money because why? We trade emotionally. Our own mindset sabotage our trade. We chase the hype, we panic sell, we follow the crowd, and which I always tell you guys in the Discord, when you are copying somebody else's trade, please ask for a technical. Why did you enter that trade? Can you give me a technical, please? It's always good to ask the why. Simon Sinek said, find your why, right? But the wealthy traders, remember, the wealthy doesn't has nothing to do with the money, okay? It's all have something to do with your mindset. What do they do when they trade? Those elite traders, at least that we could say. They study, they plan ahead, they stay disciplined, right? Oh yeah, by the way, when it comes to taking profit, please stop saying, I wish I hold on much longer. I would have made a bigger profit. Dude, you just made profit. Whatever percentage you win, 5, 10, 15, 30, 80%, whatever that is, be grateful for it. Okay, because tomorrow you're going to do it again and again and again. Okay, just keep that in mind. Always have a strategy. If that is your level to take profit, be happy with it. Move on. Let's go to the next trade. Okay. Second thing that we need to know, never invest in what you don't understand. I get it. Cryptocurrency sometimes it's kind of, I don't understand either, right? It's a cryptocurrency. It's like things that you don't really touch or see, but we invest on it because risk comes from ignorance. Yes, risk come from our own ignorance. And if we don't understand it, we should not be trading it. Third one, we have to think long-term goal. Investors like Warren Buffett thinks in years, not in minutes. You have to find your niche. Are you a long-term investor? Are you a swing trader? Or are you a scalper? You could you could do all that, but I think picking your strength, either a scalper or a swinging and long-term investor, comes with your personality. If you don't have the patience, I highly suggest you stay away from scalping because this is very high focus, fast decision. If you don't have that, stay away from scalping. And for beginners, I highly suggest to at least do a paper trading or don't invest on scalping yet until you either get strategy or mentorship or you learn some of your technicals at least. Okay. Um, number four, was it number four? Number three. You have to control your emotion. I know I keep talking about it. Control your emotion. Mary, you keep saying that. Control your emotion because it's important. We sabotage our own trade because of our emotion. We fear. And our greed destroy more accounts than the bad stocks. Yes, us. We destroy our own account. Next, we build a strategy. When you guys take my scalping class, it's very simple. Very, very simple. And all you have to do is just follow those strategy that I taught you guys. Very simple. And you have to implement those things that I taught you. And you have to practice. Continue practicing it for 30 days. Okay? Don't give up on the second day because the market did not favor your trade. Or at least, I'm sorry, the opposite. The market doesn't favor your trade. You trade what the market gives you, meaning your trade did not go to your favor. But it's okay. Even if your trade did not go to your favor, but you cut it short, you still win. You stick to your strategy. That's okay. It's okay because sometimes those patterns doesn't follow. It becomes invalidated. Those support and resistance gives you fake out. Those head and shoulders, thinking like it has a bearish signal or a bearish bias, got invalidated because it did not break the neckline. And here's the second one, fundamentals. There was news that invalidated your technicals. So don't be so hard on yourself, okay? Please don't be so hard on yourself because when you have that negative bias, we tend to be ugly. Well, I'm not talking about in general, but I'm saying other people affect how they treat others because they lost money. Please don't be like that person. Okay, let me tell you a little bit of story again. I know I like stories, right? There was a monk teaching, and he asked his students. He said, there was a guy holding a cup of coffee, and someone bumped into him, and the monk said, "What do you think comes out on the cup? Will the person who's holding the cup should get mad at the person who bumps into him?" And the monk waited for the students to reply. Others said, "Oh, it's the guy's fault because he bumped into the guy." The other one said, "No, it's not the it's not the guy who bumped into him. It's him because he was holding the cup with a coffee. So what spills? The coffee." So the monk said, "You're right. If you're holding a cup of tea and someone bump into you, what's going to come out? Cup of tea. If you're holding a chocolate milk, what's going to come out? Chocolate milk, right? So, what does that mean is if someone bump into you, whatever's inside of you will come out, whether it's good or ugly. You get to choose which one will come out. So, I always have that in the back of my head. If somebody try to trigger me, what is going to come out in myself? What is going to come out of myself? Is it nasty or is it kindness? Just keep that in mind. When you're driving, somebody triggers, stick a middle finger on you. What is going to come out of you? Would you do the same thing? Funny thing is, there was a guy, I drive like a grandfather, like a grandma, I'm sorry. And I saw the guy, he was driving a truck, and then I saw a guy stick a middle finger. He lowers his window and stick a middle finger at me. And I started laughing. I'm like, what did I do? And then he stick his middle finger, put down and he was so angry. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? I just realized I was just driving so slow. But here in Florida, we're in Florida, people. Oh yeah, we're in Florida. You think a lot of people will be slowing down. This is actually fast drivers in here. We could go 70 miles an hour. So just remember that. Whatever is inside of you, if someone triggers you, will come out. Keep that in mind. All right. The next one is, yeah, you build your strategy. We'll talk about that. A wealthy mindset is always consistent, not impulsive. Next one again is protect your capital, guys. It's the most important thing. Your first job as a trader is not to make money. Yes, it's not to make money. It's to avoid losing money unnecessarily. That is your first job as a trader. Is to avoid losing money unnecessarily. Next, self-education. What does that mean? Here comes your technicals. Go to YouTube, guys. YouTube has so many videos that teach you. Discord has a lot of classes. We have Sunday class, we have Kingdom Capital, we have Mike, you have me, you have Tom, you have Airtwan. There's a lot of people helping you guys. Take an opportunity of that. There's nothing wrong with asking people for help. You know, remember, always ask for help. Doesn't matter how many people says no. What if that person said yes? That's an opportunity. Jim Rohn said, formal education will make you a living, and self-education will make you a fortune. Keep that in mind, what Jim Rohn said. And whatever you think, it becomes. Earl Nightingale. I always have that in my head. I always teach it to my kids. Whatever you think, it becomes. Your mind doesn't know reality and illusion. So you have to make sure that you're thinking positive, because your body hears it, your mind think through it. There's rules when me and my friend run a marathon, there's rules that we have to follow, me and her. Nobody complains how tired you are. Nobody complains that you have cramps. Nobody complains that your leg hurts. Nobody complains that your whatever hurts. Nobody complains that. You only get to complain that once you finish the marathon. And there's rule of thumb too. If you cannot run, it's not because it hurts. It's because it's jeopardizing your health and your physical health, then you could say that. My first marathon, I hit a wall. I've never experienced a wall. I hit a wall and I had to tell her because my knee locked. And I remember actually talking to Mike. I told him, Mike, I was running my first marathon. I remember he called me. But anyways, on the 19 miles, I hit a wall. I don't even know what's a wall. That's the wall where your mindset is fighting your negative thoughts over your positive thoughts. But my knee was locking. And the rule of thumb is don't complain if you're in pain. But this one, we were running down the bridge, and that was 19 miles, and it locked my knee. And I wanted to cry, but I don't want to cry. I don't want to give up because my friend, when you say things now, she's gonna be like, okay, I don't want to be called a loser. She doesn't want to be called a loser. So we never quit. We never stop. But I have to tell her that my knee is locking. I don't think I could run anymore. And she was like, okay, let's stop. Let's stop. Let's not run anymore. But I remember she said to me, whoever quit is going to be a loser, is going to be walking like this when we're practicing. I don't want to be that person. So in my head, all I did was just, I pray and then I count 1 to 100. And then I do left, right, left, right, left, right. And then here comes your negative thoughts. It's fighting your negative thoughts. It's, that's the reason why it's only 0.01% of global population could run a marathon, because it's not easy, but it's not impossible. But that marathon just really humbles me. This is my fourth marathon that we're going in 2 weeks, so wish me luck. I actually gained a couple of pounds because I went to the cruise, but hopefully, I'll do better. But that negative thoughts, guys, is real. So you have to get rid of it. Get rid of it. Okay? Remember that trading rewards the educated and the disciplined. Educated because we learn the technicals, we learn our mindset, we become disciplined. Trading does not rewards the emotional. Okay? So hopefully we get to shift our mindset from the poor to the rich to the wealthy in less than 1 hour. It's not easy. I'm still a learning process right now, and I want to take you with me. We're going to go together on this journey to have that freedom, to have that liberty in life. So, let me give you guys a last advice. Earl Nightingale said, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Okay. Well, the skills pays the bills, you know? High valued skills build wealth. So let's have that skills of trading. Let's have the high valued skills that will build our wealth. Well, this is it for tonight. Thank you for staying with me in less than 1 hour. Just keep in mind, always be kind, always be patient, and may all your trades be in green. And of course, your days be in green as well. I hope you enjoy this 1 hour talk. I know could be boring, but I'm here. Just like I said, I want to be different from anybody. I don't want to talk about technicals all the time, because that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a morning huddle talking about technicals. Then we have a power hour. Remember, our power hour had changed now from Wednesday to Thursday. And to my YouTube subscribers, I'm giving them free live trading every Tuesdays for the morning huddle. Only morning huddle. Because all the live trading from the Crown Traders will only be exclusive for the VIPs soon. Once again, have a great night, traders. I enjoyed this talk, and I hope I've touched some of your hearts. I love you guys, and have a great night.